Well, the case was centring on whether the Move Forward Party's plan to amend the Lèse Majesté or royal defamation laws, which are some of the strictest in the world, was a breach of the Constitution, in particular Section 49, which says that people should not attempt to overthrow a democratic regime with the King as head of state. Now, the court found that Move Forward and its leaders had in fact violated the Constitution and that they had breached this section in particular. They found that their policy was a threat to national security, and they also said that Section 112, which is the Lèse Majesté laws, are an important part of Thai society in upholding the honour of the monarchy and also the honour of the nation. So the court has ruled that Move Forward can no longer campaign on this issue or discuss this issue.
What is this going to mean, Lauren, for the future of this party?
Well, it wasn't the Constitutional Court's job today to rule on any punishments for the party, and it wasn't part of the petition that the party be dissolved, so that was never on the cards. But it is potentially on the cards now. This could open the door to legal challenges to the Move Forward Party and attempts to dissolve the party and ban its leaders. Now, that's not unheard of in Thai politics. In fact, that has been common in the history of Thai politics. So what we're expecting now is to see potentially some of these challenges to the party, to some of its leaders. But we're still waiting to see what will happen. I think the one thing that we can guarantee is that it'll be another turbulent time in Thai politics.
Yeah. The party leader of Move Forward just a few days ago was cleared of breaching election rules over his shares in a media company. So what might this mean for his political future?
That's right, Bev. Pita Limjaroenrat, who was the former prime ministerial hopeful last year, was in court just last week over his shares in a defunct media company. He was cleared in that case and reinstated as an MP, but this is another blow to him. And you can imagine that he's likely to be one of those people that I mentioned who could face challenges now. He's young, he's charismatic, he's extremely popular, which has made him a big target for Conservative politicians here. And he gave a press conference a short time ago and said that while he was disappointed with the ruling, he was not too worried about these challenges. He wasn't worried that the party would be dissolved because the party now is more of an ideology. It's a movement and you can't dissolve that.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Lauren. I mean, they have very strong public support. How do people feel about this, given that many of them voted for this party based on these changes?
Oh, Bev, this will be hugely disappointing for millions of Thais. As you mentioned, the Move Forward Party is the most popular party in Thailand, actually. They won almost 40% of the vote in last May's election, the most seats in Parliament. And the only reason that they're not in government is because they were thwarted in their attempts by the military-backed Senate, who wouldn't approve them and wouldn't approve Pita as the new Prime Minister. So this was one of their signature policies. They had a raft of progressive policies that they took to that election, but amending the royal defamation laws was at the centre of that. And so these millions of Thais presumably supported those changes. So I think what it's really uncovered is this deep disquiet in Thai society and this desire to discuss and at least have a conversation about the monarchy and about being able to exercise free speech in relation to that, which at the moment is severely limited.
Yeah. So given it's the Constitutional Court, Lauren, can they appeal? Is there another court that they can go to over this decision?
In short, no. The ruling is final in the Constitutional Court, and in that press conference that I mentioned just a short time ago, there was no mention of any appeals. Pita Limjaroenrat spoke and said that it was very disappointing. He thought that the Parliament was the right place to have a mature conversation about the future of the country and the future of these laws, and now this effectively would kill an opportunity to discuss that. And when asked what he would say to the supporters, those millions of Thais who voted for him, who voted for this discussion to be had, he just said, "We tried our best." So it's unclear what will happen now. I mean, whether or not there will be protests, we don't know. It remains to be seen. This movement really was sparked by protests, that student-led protests back in 2020, so it's possible that we may see that again, although many of the people at the centre of those protests have now been facing charges over their role in that, charged with Lèse Majesté. Since 2020, there's been something like 260 people charged and prosecuted with Lèse Majesté, including a record 50-year sentence last week for one of those pro-democracy activists. So that ruling, that sentence, and then today's ruling will likely have a really chilling effect, I think, on Thai society and free speech here.
Indeed. Good to talk, Lauren. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.